Hello, 8th graders. Today we're going to take a look at your grammar book, page 210. There are a bunch of practice sentences there to talk about how to do agreement in number. So first of all, before we get started, take a look at my notes here. Remember, in general, when you're trying to agree your subject with your verb, usually, or many times, a singular subject has no S ending, while a singular verb does have an S ending. For example, girl, singular, one girl. She sings with an S ending for the verb. A jaguar, one jaguar, runs with an S ending. And a teacher, one teacher, he or she laughs. Conversely, a plural subject usually does have an S ending, while many times a plural verb has no S ending. For example, boys, what do? They jump, no S ending. Spies, what do? They sneak. And then athletes, what do? They train. So sometimes you've got an S ending here and no S ending on the other word in these pairs. Now this doesn't always work because we have things like you. Now if the rule would stand up, then it should be is, because one of those words should have an S ending, you is. But you is does not make sense at all. You'd say you are. And then economics, it's like a study or a class. So economics, if this makes sense, you'd have economics is, and then you'd pick this verb because only one of them needs the S. Economics are, but that's not what you choose. You choose is because economics is actually a singular subject. And then with names, sometimes you have an S on the end of a name. So you've got James. And then if this makes sense with the S thing, you'd have James R. Well, James R is never going to work for you. You need the singular is. So remember, the S rule doesn't always work, but many, many times it does. So when you're looking at page 210 in your grammar book, you've got number 1, which says, a popular saying, is or are opposites attract. The first thing you want to do is concentrate on this verb. The verb choice is or are. So you ask yourself, what is it that is or are? So you look back here to find your subject. Is it A? Is it popular? Is it saying? It's saying. Saying is or are. A saying is a singular subject, so you're going to need a singular verb. So your choice that you're going to pick is. A popular saying is. Number 2, on the contrary, we doesn't or don't often seek relationships with people who hold values. So your verb choices are doesn't or don't. So what you have to do is think, okay, it's one of these is going to be the right choice, doesn't or don't. Now you look back and decide who is it that doesn't or don't, or what is it that doesn't or don't. Before the verb, here's your choices for subject. On the contrary, we. So who or what is it that doesn't or don't often seek? The main subject is we. So we doesn't or we don't. We is a plural subject, so you want your plural verb. We don't. And there's that rule with the S. We don't need an S on our subject, we, and we don't need an S on our verb. We do not. Number 3, personality clashes, spoils or spoil relationships. So your verb choices are spoils or spoil. So you have to ask who or what is it that spoils or spoil. It's personality clashes. So our simple subject is going to be clashes. So do we want clashes spoils or clashes spoil? Clashes is plural. We want the plural verb, so it's going to be clashes spoil. Number 4, differences creates or create tension. Verb choices here, creates or create. This one's pretty easy. There's only 2 other words to look at in the sentence, differences or tension. Differences is your subject. So do we want to say differences creates or differences create? Differences is plural, so we want our plural verb create. Number 5. Prefers or prefer is going to be your verb here, verb choices. Typically, a talkative person prefers or prefer the company of other sociable people. So who or what is it that prefers or prefer? Well, it's one of these words here. Typically, a talkative person, your simple subject here is person. So person prefers or person prefer. You got to make your choice there. Person is singular, so you definitely want the singular verb prefers. Number 6, a quiet individual sometimes feels or feel more comfortable with fellow introverts. Feels or feel is your choice. So you got to decide who is it that feels or feel more comfortable with fellow introverts. It's a quiet individual sometimes. So where is the simple subject in there? Who is it that feels or feel? It is the individual. So individual feels or individual feel. You want individual as one singular subject, so you want the singular verb. You want feels, individual feels. Number 7, teens usually selects or select friends who are most like them. There's your verb choices, selects or select. You got to ask, who is it that usually selects or select? It's the teens. So teens is plural. Do we want teens selects or do we want teens select? We want the plural verb for teens, so we want teens select. Number 8, you've got they sometimes forms or form tight-knit groups called cliques. And yes, that is how you spell cliques. The little group of people that hang together, those cliques out there, that's how you spell that. Kind of a cool word. Okay, forms and form is your choice. Do you want forms or do you want form? You got to decide who is it that form or forms the cliques. Well, you got they sometimes. So your subject up here is they. They forms or they form. They is plural, so you want the plural verb. Form is the plural verb. And here's that deal where this doesn't end with an S and this doesn't end with an S. They're both plurals though, so they are the matches for that sentence. Number 9, they agree. Still, friendships has or have developed among those with different personalities. You've got has, you've got have. So who or what has or have developed among those? You got still and friendships. Your subject there is not still, your subject is friendships. So friendships has developed or friendships have developed. Friendships is plural. We want the plural verb, have. Friendships have developed. Finally, last one for practice, number 10. Open communication helps or help all kinds of friends to get along. Helps and help is your choices for verbs. So who or what is it that helps or help? It's the open communication. Our main subject then is communication. That's a singular subject. It's a one thing. So it helps or it help. Singular subject needs a singular verb. That would be helps. I hope this helps you figure out how to work on your agreement in number. That's it for practicing from pages 208 to 210 in your grammar book. Your assignment now is on page 631. It's set 1. Good luck.